Good morning, Year 6. So, today we are going to be looking at writing a description of the alchemist's house. So, in order to do that, we're going to look at the video clip. When you are watching the video clip, I want you to pay particular attention to the clip and to what is going on and to the surroundings because you are going to write a description about part of it. So, think about what things look like, think about how you could describe them, think about what adjectives you could use. Okay. So, we're going to watch the clip now and pay particular attention, please.
My father told me the story of an alchemist who built a device so powerful it could turn any metal into pure gold. But to power his device, he fed it his own memories. He had a family, but in his quest for gold, he abandoned them. After the alchemist's death, his son returned to the home he once knew as a child.
My dear son, I have crafted a magnificent device. It burns my memories as fuel. The more precious the memories, the more powerful my machine. Now, I have left here for you my most precious memories. They are memories of the place I fell in love with your mother. They are memories of you, Viridian. I remember your mother. She died alone. Because of the creature I was becoming. I understand why you ran away. I have seen that you now have a daughter. But I fear you may abandon her, just as I abandoned you. My son, now I understand what matters the most. Love, your father, Nicholas.
And so, rumours of a miraculous device remained only rumours. But that night, my father gave me a golden watch and told me what he'd read in the alchemist's letter.
Okay then, so let's discuss what happened during that video clip. So, the alchemist built a device that ran on his memories. He spent more time with the machine than his family, so this probably made his family feel quite neglected. Okay? He neglected his wife and let her die alone. So at this point, he's spending more time with his machine than with his family at all. He's showing more love towards his machine than his family. He's worried that Viridian will do the same to his daughter. So he's worried that Viridian will neglect his daughter, which might lead to his daughter running away the same as Viridian did. He's trying to give Viridian some advice through his memories. So he's trying to show Viridian the mistakes that he made to stop Viridian making the same ones. And at the end, he breaks the machine with his most powerful memories. Okay, because he's now saying that the most important thing in life is love, which then breaks the machine. So maybe this is to stop Viridian following in his footsteps, to stop Viridian from neglecting his family. Okay, so as I've said today, we are going to be looking at description and descriptive features. So what is the purpose of a description? Just have a think for a few moments. What is the purpose of a description? So a description is designed to allow the reader to see what you see. It allows them to see things exactly as you see them. So the more description you put into something, the more vivid the image in the reader's head. Okay, so they are more likely to see it as you see it, the more description you put in. So when we write a description, what language devices do we use? What kinds of words, word classes, word types, what do we use to write a description? Have a think for a few moments. I think I have already mentioned one previously, just before we watched the video. Okay, so we use powerful adjectives. Okay, so remember adjectives describing words, they describe a noun. We could use similes and metaphors. We could use personification. And we could also use alliteration. Alliteration isn't quite as important a feature as the rest of them, but personification, similes and metaphors, and powerful adjectives are things that you would generally see during a description. So, when we write a description then, we need to ensure that we are using strong adjectives that are appropriate for the thing that we are describing, okay? So it's no use just plucking any random adjective and putting it in your writing. It's got to be appropriate for the objects that we're describing. So if we just have a look at this sentence down here, which adjective would be the most appropriate? So, the alchemist poured his mystical potions into the something basin. Could we have luminescent, sharp, or striped? Which would be the most appropriate? Thinking about the adjectives that have already been used in that sentence, thinking about the magic air that the video gives you, which one would be the most appropriate? Have a think for a few moments. So I would say that luminescent would be the most appropriate adjective because it gives that sense of magic, okay? The basin could be sharp and it could be striped, but they're not quite as relevant to the sentence as luminescent because luminescent gives that magical feeling, as mystical also gives that magical feeling. What I would like you to do now is I would like you to, in a minute, pause the video and write a list of as many powerful adjectives as you can think of about this picture. So what I would do, I would try and think of adjectives to describe each part of the picture. So you might want to describe the house, you might want to describe Viridian, you might want to describe the trees, the sunlight, the path, the forest. These are all things that you could describe, okay? So what I would do, I would think of maybe a simple adjective like the trees are tall, okay? And then you can improve that adjective then after you've thought of the simple one. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so these are just a few that I've thought of. So I've used the word decrepit, quite a powerful adjective. I used this to describe the cottage. Now the cottage on the outside isn't decrepit, but as he walked inside, it turned a little bit more decrepit. Okay, and that just means a little bit of run down. I use the word vast, okay, because it's a vast space. It's a massive forest. You can see lots of trees in the background. I used wild and dense because the forest is quite covered by the trees and by the leaves. And I use the word melancholy, which means a bit depressed, a bit sad, because the house looks a bit sad. It's on its own. It's got no owner anymore. So I've kind of given it a human feeling there. Okay, so we also need to use figurative language when writing descriptions. So this means we need to use similes, metaphors, and personification. So, similes, just to recap, describe something that it is like. So, for example, the sun is like a ball of fire. So, we use the word either like or as with a simile, and we're saying it's like something else. With a metaphor, we say it is something else. So, we don't use the words like or as, we say it is something else. So, her long hair was a flowing golden river, or her long hair is a flowing golden river. So, we use either was or is there. And for personification, we give an object a human-like feature. So for example, the leaves danced in the breeze. Well, leaves don't dance, humans dance. So that is the human-like feature that we have given to the leaves. We are pretending that they are dancing, which just means that they are moving gracefully, dancing about the forest. Okay, so can you think of 3 examples of similes, metaphors, and personification about this picture? So, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either think of 1 example for each, or you can try and think of 3 examples for each. So 3 similes, 3 metaphors, 3 personification. It's completely up to you. What I would like you to do now is pause the video and have a go. And again, here are some of my examples. So, I've gone for the sun beamed down, the path was like a winding river, Viridian cried a river of tears, the branches waved. So I've got 2 examples of personification there. The branches waved and the sun beamed down, okay, because they are human-like features. I've got 1 example of a simile. The path was like a winding river, so I've likened it to something else. And I thought of this because it kind of winds round, doesn't it, a bit like a river does. And then I've gone for the metaphor, Viridian cried a river of tears. So I'm sticking with that theme of rivers with my metaphor as well. So now what I would like you to do is I would like you to look again at the picture once more, and I would like you to choose your most appropriate adjectives, similes and metaphors that you might use in your description. So for example, if we go back to this slide, I probably would get rid of Viridian cried a river of tears because here he's not actually crying, okay? I just put myself in his shoes and thought about how I would feel, but he's not actually crying. I also might get rid of the branches waved because it actually looks like quite a still day there, and the idea of the branches waving maybe gives the sense that it's more blustery, okay? So think about your most appropriate adjectives, similes and metaphors that you might use in your description and choose them please, okay? It doesn't matter how many similes, metaphors and adjectives you have, just as long as you choose your most appropriate ones. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so tomorrow what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking again at the Alchemist's letter, but you are going to be improving a description that I have written, okay? So keep those adjectives, similes and metaphors to hand, maybe personification too. Keep them to hand because you might need them tomorrow. Well done, Year 6. I'll speak to you soon.